So we finished the max width video, and now we're on to working with unordered lists. So you can just copy the same content and roll it over and make your next page. And what we want you to end up with is something that looks like this. So let's take a look at the coding on this side. So view page source, and if you go, first thing we'll do is I made a change in the navigation, so it's still in the nav, and instead I put an unordered list, and all it basically you have to do is add the list item tags to the front and back, because all the inside content is exactly the same. So you just add that unordered list and close it out, and then add the list item. I mean, you can type it all in again, but you don't have to. So it's easier just copy and paste. In fact, once you get this part in, you could just copy that and go there and copy paste it until you get to the very end. You just have to be careful so you end up with the same amount of these on this side as you end up with them on this side. And then be sure and close those. And if you're using brackets, which I hope you are, it will, once you open it up, it's going to close it. So you can just copy that and paste it on the side, or copy this content and paste it inside, however you want to do it. But you want to end up with a list. And as you work your way through it, just keep checking and stuff, and it's going to look funny, and then it's going to look like a list instead of navigation at first. So let's go up here, and basically we've already got your nav somewhat set up. So let's take a peek at the one from the page before. Hold on. In fact, I'm going to stop a minute. All right, so if we look at our last page, what we have for the nav is just we have some padding, border on the bottom just to separate it out, and the anchor, I colored it. So I gave a font color and some padding to space them out a little bit. And then I gave it a hover, so they just changed the color. So that's really very simple. So you can see it just, very simple. So if we go here, all of a sudden it's a little bit more complex. So let's take a look at that. Hold on, I'm going to switch back to that page. So you can see this navigation is a little bit different. So let's take a peek at this again. I went ahead and pulled this in. So you can see it's still the same up here, but we added the text align center. And then with we have a different color for the font. And I changed up the padding a little bit, made it a little bit more. This is the top and bottom, and that's the left and right. Let me squish this up so we can look at this side by side, maybe. Not quite, but close enough. So, and then I told it text decoration none, and that takes away the underline. And then set the margin at 0, and I gave it a border of 1 pixel. And when you give it a border, of course, you need to give it a size and then a color, and then tell it what kind of line it is. And then I gave it a background color, okay? And that was actually the color I had for the font before. And then for the hover, I told it, or gave it a color, and then the background color is a little different. And here's where the important part is. So nav, you have to tell it for the UL, unordered list, to say list style none, and that gets rid of the bullet. And then you tell the list items inside the nav to display in a line. So display in line. And that little bit right here makes it turn into from a list, stacking list, into a set of buttons that goes across your page. So again, this part too, because it's important that if you want it in the center, if you don't want it in the center, you can tell it text align left or right, whichever you want it to do. But I like mine in the center for this design. So that's what you need to do to make the navigation as from an unordered list.